So today in this video you will learn how to apply Bayes theorem in a particular problem. Okay, before moving on to a example, let me recall that Bayes theorem is basically to find a reverse kind of probability. That means so far in till previous examples or till previous exercises, if you have noticed, the cause of the problem would be given to you and you have to find the solution of the problem. But in this case, that is in Bayes theorem, solution of the problem will be given to you. You have to find the probability of the root cause of the problem. So here in such situation only Bayes theorem actually helps us a lot. Okay, and in this particular example we are actually going to define the formula of Bayes theorem. Okay, it is already been derived. We have the general formula, but in order to go with the general formula, it would be better if you learn the formula along with an example. So that makes your learning of the formula more easy enough. Okay, and one more very important thing is that in this Bayes theorem, conditional probability plays a very major role. Okay, so even in deriving the even in defining the formula of Bayes theorem, we actually use the conditional probability over here. So in this particular example also we will be finding the conditional probability and we will be applying it in the definition of the Bayes theorem. Okay, so let's get into the example. Now just see the example. Bag 1 contains 3 red and 4 black balls, and while another bag 2 contains 5 red and 6 black balls. So total how many bags we have? We have 2 bags, bag 1 and bag 2. In bag 1 there are 3 red balls and 4 black balls. So total number of balls is 7 in bag 1. And in bag 2 we have 5 red balls and 6 black balls. So total number of balls will be 11 in bag 2. Now one ball is drawn at random from one of the bags and it is found to be red. Okay, so this is the event which is happening. Okay, now find the probability that it was drawn from bag 2. See, this is the reverse probability. Already the color of the ball has been given as like in the question, and finally you have to find from which bag it has been drawn, and here you have to find the probability that it was drawn from bag 2. Okay, so here in the last final stage only we will be using the Bayes theorem, but before that, with the help of the given information, we have to find certain probabilities, the normal probabilities which we have been doing it so far. Okay, so in this case, first coming from the first statement, bag 1 and bag 2. Okay, so let us assume bag 1 as event 1 and bag 2 as event 2. Fine. Now if I ask you, for example, go and get a red ball, so you will ask me from which bag should I go and get the red ball. Okay, so in that case you will first name these two, bag 1 and bag 2, as event 1 and event 2. Okay, now choosing these one of the bag, what will be the probability of choosing this one of the bag? In total there are only 2 bags. Now what is the probability of choosing any one of the bag? So probability of choosing will be obviously 1 by 2 for both the cases. Even for bag 1 the probability will be 1 by 2, and even for bag 2, choosing the bag 2, the probability will be 1 by 2. Okay, so which bag you are choosing its probability you have to first find. Okay, now so that 2, bag 1 and bag 2, you will be assuming it as event 1 and event 2, that is E1 and E2. Now next, one ball is drawn at random from one of the bags. We don't know from which bag it is drawn, and that color is found to be red. Now this event which is occurring, this can either occur in bag 1 or it can either occur in bag 2. We don't know. That means this particular event is a common event for both bag 1 and bag 2. Fine. So that common event you have to give a name as, say, A. let A be the event of drawing a red ball. That means drawing a red ball is a common event for both the bags. Because it is one of the bag it is mentioned, so we don't know from which bag it is. Okay, so that you will assume it as A. Let A be the event of drawing a red ball. Now find its even probability and find E2 probability individually. What is even? Choosing of the bag 1. What is the probability? It is 1 by 2, as I mentioned here earlier, as I just said it just right now. Yes, and P of E2, that is probability of E2, again the probability will be 1 by 2. Now next, one ball is drawn at random from one of the bags and it is found to be red. Okay, now one of the bags, now from here till here we will be completely using the conditional probability. Okay, assuming that this is given to you, you have to find this red. Assume that one of the bags, suppose say if it is drawn from bag 1, it's given that it is drawn from bag 1, so find the probability that it is a red ball. And it is given that it is drawn from bag 2, then again find the probability that it is a red ball. Okay, so we have to use here conditional probability to find that the ball is a red ball given that one of the bag is been mentioned. Now we don't know which bag, so we will find for both the bags, E1 and E2. So in that case we use the conditional probability P of A given E1. This is given. What is even? That is, you are choosing bag 1. From there you have to find A. What is A? That drawing a red ball. So what will be the probability for bag 1? Bag 1, how many red balls are there? There are 3 red balls out of the total number of balls in bag 1, that is 7. So it is 3 by 7 probability. This is conditional probability you have to use. Fine. Next, similarly, this is for bag 1. Now it is not compulsorily, it is not been said that only from bag 1. It is one of the bags. So let us choose the second one also. We'll find the conditional probability for bag 2. So P of A given E2. That means second bag is given and you have to find the probability of the red ball. Okay, now in second bag, how many red balls you have? 5 red balls you have. Out of the total number of ball is 11. So the probability, conditional probability will be 5 by 11. Now coming to the actual question, that is the last question. Find the probability. Now from here you have to, now this is done. Now it is found to be red. You have drawn a ball and it is already found that it is a red ball. Now next, now find the probability that it was actually drawn from bag 2. Which is bag 2? This is bag 2. That means you have to find its probability in reverse order. For this probability you have to find. This is bag 2. E2 is choosing bag 2 and it is found to be red. That means you will find the reverse probability like this. That is, it is given that it is a red ball. It is found that it is a red ball. You have to find that it is drawn from the second bag. You have to find this. You have to find that this is drawn from the second bag. And it is given that it is a red ball. So this, here we come for the Bayes theorem. Okay, so I have written there. Now to find the probability of drawing a ball from bag 2 given that it is a red ball. Okay, that is to find this one. It's reverse of this. The conditional probability of second bag which we have found, it's just its reverse. Okay, now how to find its reverse probability? There comes the Bayes theorem formula. Now how to apply the formula? P of, that is conditional probability of E2 given A. A is given that it is a red ball and E2 you have to find that it is been drawn from bag 2. Now see the formula. This is actually the formula. Now whatever you have here, whatever you are supposed to find, suppose if it is E1, so here also in the numerator it should be E1 and conditional probability also with respect to E1 it should be. Okay, the one which we have already found. So if it is E2 here, then here also in the numerator it will be E2. Okay, now P of E2 given A is equal to, the formula will be P of E2, that is probability of E2 into P of A given E2, this which we have already, this is the normal conditional probability which we have already found. So that you have to multiply the whole divided by probability of E1 into probability of A given E1 plus probability of E2 into probability of A given E2. Little initially you will little find it difficult to learn the formulas, but as and when you keep on looking these examples again and again, and when we start doing the exercise problems, thereafter you will get adapted to the formula part. Okay, now all these values we have found out, that is P of E2 is how much, 1 by 2 into P of A given E2 is 5 by 11. So substitute that, and the whole divided by P of E1 is 1 by 2 into P of A given E1 is 3 by 7 plus half into 5 by 11. So when you simplify this further, your final answer will be 35 upon 68. Now this is how you apply Bayes theorem for a particular problem. Okay. It's very important. Don't panic that if you are finding it difficult to understand also, please do not panic it. Initially it will be little difficult for you, but it will definitely take little time to understand as well as get adapted to the formula. Okay, so as and when we start doing with the exercise questions, thereafter you will get a wider clarity of this particular chapter. Okay, so that's all about the Bayes theorem. This is example which I have discussed with you. Okay, I hope it's clear to you. Thank you so much.